There have been some absolutely epic deadlift training videos this week, particularly from Britain's Graham Hicks, who just deadlifted 400 kilos for 3 sets of 3 in training. And we are 17 weeks out from the Deadlift World Championships. So yeah, I believe we're 16, 17 weeks out from the Deadlift World Championship. So it's a long, build-up.
Oh, a long time to go.
And he's looking ridiculously strong this far out. Probably stronger than any of his big opposition right now. But the excitement is building. And Hicksy, I have to say, I mean, we'll show the video, but 400 kilos for 3. And quite honestly, he makes it look like it's just a casual weight.
Yeah. I mean, Are you surprised that Hicksy is sort of this good this far out, do you think?
Well, he can't just build on that. I'm guessing in terms of his training, he's looking for a mini peak and then he's going to back off and then build up again. Because you can't just keep going up for 16, 17 weeks. That would be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But he's looking very, very strong. And one thing I look for when I see people lifting big weights is how much effort they are putting in. If he was putting 100% effort in and you could see he was struggling and it was max, RPE 9 or 10, I would think that's foolish.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like that at all.
No.
He looks well within himself. He looks the strongest I think we've ever seen him. I know through personal reasons he's now able to really focus a bit more on this goal. He seems like he is 100% focused just on the deadlift. I've said many times I think Hicksy's one of the strongest men in the world I've ever trained with. And I've trained with some pretty strong guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But a focused Hicksy has a chance. At first I was like, it's a big ask. And I still believe 505 is a big ask. But he is built on his foundations. Every year he's got better. Every year that top end number is improved. And he is one of the few guys that has a chance. Whether he can do it or not, it's still a huge, huge ask. But the early signs are looking promising. There's so much that can happen between now and then. It's a massive risk taking under any kind of ridiculous feat of strength like this. There's so much that can go wrong. However, right now, Hicksy is looking crazy. I'd love to talk to him and understand what his build-up is like.
Well, you should.
I might have to do that, see if people are interested in understanding where and how he's planning on building, if he's going to put on more body weight, because he's looking lean as well. He's looking fantastic. But right now, for the amount of time he's got, he looks extremely strong.
So another man who is training solely for the deadlift is, of course, Rauno Heinla, whose birthday was yesterday.
It was indeed.
And he's had a slower build. So he's just really started his focused deadlift training because, of course, after winning World's Strongest Master last year, he had surgery on his knees to clean them out. So that's delayed his start time a little bit. And he's working in a new suit. Now, he did try this suit last year, and but he'd only had like one training session in it. So this year he's doing all of his prep with it, all of his suited prep with it anyway.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly he progresses, because Hicksy and Rauno have both lifted roughly the same top end weight.
Yeah, they have.
Within a kilo or two of each other. I think they're that close. Very similar in terms of stature and build.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see whose approach ends up being better come competition day. Now, the interesting factor is Thor going for a big deadlift as well.
Yes.
His deadlift is planned for the strongest man on earth, the Shore Classic, where no suits are allowed.
No, yeah.
So now, as much as I'm looking forward to seeing someone pull 505, I do love this.
I know, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I love the fact that Brian has said, get rid of the suits. Yeah. Let's see who is the strongest deadlifter without. And this competition also has some big deadlifters in as well, some of who will be competing at the Deadlift World Championships as well, which is another interesting factor, training for a raw deadlift and an equipped deadlift at the same time.
So another thing that's going to be really interesting, taking it back to the Deadlift World Championships in Vegas, we're going to have Tom Stoltman and Mitch Hooper there. Obviously, they're number 1 and 2 right now in the world, so it's the sort of rivalry we're enjoying. Now, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've seen him do a standard height max deadlift since WUS 2019, where he pulled 430.
I think you're right. I know he's done obviously the Hummer tire deadlift. He's done
Elevated
elevated
stuff like that. Yeah.
pulls. He's done multiple deadlift for reps,
Elephant bar.
but not a standard deadlift. Certainly not in a suit as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see, because Tom has mentioned it's something he wants to go after.
Yeah, no, and we can assume that's not this year because, you need to get a wiggle on at some point.
Yeah, I think for both Mitch and for Tom, their primary focus has to be winning shows.
Yeah.
So the deadlift becomes a secondary focus to them, but it will be interesting to see who can come out on top.
Yes, it will.
In both. They're doing both
they're
the
both
Strongest Man on Earth and the Deadlift World Championships. They get the chance to go head to head, equipped and unequipped.
Yeah. The unequipped one's first as well.
It is, yes. But it's not a huge amount of time between them. So ideally, an athlete wants like a good prep in the suit, to really get the most out of it. So I think that's why someone like Hicksy and Rauno are in such a good place.
Yeah.
Because they are solely focused on this. Whereas Mitch and Tom have the Strongman Classic coming up at the Royal Albert Hall. They have the Shore Classic. They've got other events that they're doing. So there's a lot going on for those two.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to be challenging the world records. However, I am interested in seeing who comes out on top when it comes to those two. Because they always want to beat each other. They've become amazing rivals. They respect each other so much. But they're so close in so many areas. So I think as fans, we want to get invested and see who comes out on top as well.
So the next Strongman Champions League competition is coming up on the 22nd of June. It's in Holland and it's a really, really good lineup.
Just looking at the lineup on paper now, this is a very strong lineup for the Champions League. Some great athletes. We've got Kelvin de Ruyter, who's won multiple Champions Leagues. George Solomon, who is from Holland, he is a very good athlete. Ivor Schmackstellis, obviously someone that's very established when it comes to the Champions League. Someone that a lot of people like talking about, and they think he doesn't get enough opportunities. Dennis Kourous from Germany, Evans Nana. There's Andre Invenizzi, Irvin Toits. Oscar is doing this one. I mean, Oscar is a great athlete. He's people have stopped talking about him because he did the Arnolds and the Arnolds UK and Worlds and struggled a bit in those. But you bring him down a little bit from those levels, he wins competitions.
And I think he was nursing an injury as well, so part of it was just bad timing. But yeah, like you said, coming up through this level, it was like, yes, he's the next,
There was people saying he should be top 10 in the world. I don't think he's quite there yet, but maybe 20 to 11, that's kind of where he is, and certainly good enough to challenge and win these type of comps. Gav Bilton also doing
Gav's
this.
Doing it. Evans Nana, you might have said him.
So a really strong lineup. It's always a good show, the Champions League in Holland. One of the organisers is from Holland, so they always put a lot of effort into it. It's a show that I enjoyed a couple of times during my time at the Strongman Champions League. It's a big event. One of their premier shows. Should be a fantastic contest. Another company in the UK that are doing great things for Strongman right now is Chaos. Now, this is owned by Luke Davis and Rhiannon Lovelace. Obviously, Rhiannon, one of the absolute supreme female strength athletes on the planet. They're doing a lot for the sport, and they are putting together a pro show later this year, which has a stacked lineup. Amazing opportunity for a lot of up-and-coming Brits, but some great international athletes are also going to be entering this one.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix of athletes of varying levels as well. So we've got Kane Francis is one of the bigger names there. Evans Nana's doing it. Jack, who you coach, is doing it.
Great opportunity for him. We've got Mitch Flowers, otherwise known as the Meatball, is going to be doing it.
Shane Flowers'
Shane's brother, obviously.
Obvious,
Joe Oliver, another lad that I coach who is absolutely flying. He's really worth looking out for. Overhead, can do over 200 kilos.
Nice.
But a whole host of really good up-and-coming athletes. I'm looking forward to seeing how the guys do at it.
And it's heavy as well. So they're going to be doing a max log, which starts at 150 kilos. They've got a choice of weights for the axle deadlift for reps, either 330 or 380 kilos.
Yeah, and I believe it will be one rep on the 380 will beat any amount on the 330.
That's right. We've got a 160 per hand farmer's walk, a 420 kilo yoke, and a sandbag to shoulder medley, which tops out at, I think, 170 kilos. It's a hard, heavy competition.
It's going to be tough. Look forward to seeing how the athletes do on that. So we will get more information over to you guys as it comes in. There are links in the description below for some of these events that are happening. Let us know your thoughts, as always, on who is going to take this deadlift this year. Someone has to break the deadlift world record. Is it going to be Thor? Is it going to be Hicksy? Can Rauno get himself in the mix? Will it be someone else? There's lots of big names. I do feel the guys that really focus on the deadlift have the best chance. Be interesting to see if Thor does a deadlift somewhere else with a suit as well at some point this year. But lots of big lifts are going to be happening. Hopefully all the athletes can stay injury free. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, like, share and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys next time.